Welcome to Shore Perspectives, a community feature of WESR Radio, highlighting the spirit of the shore from those who call it home.
Ben Cavileer. I started, actually, when I graduated high school, putting cars from junkyards back together. But antique cars started in the 80s. And the first car that I restored was actually a car that I drove back and forth to work for almost 10 years. And it was a 1939 Dodge luxury liner. And I still have that vehicle. My son, that's the car that he's chosen to keep. So over the years, I've been restored, I've been in restoration of 23 different vehicles. So yeah, an obsession would be to put it mildly. I do enjoy European sports cars, I will admit. Austin Healey's, Jaguars, couple Fiats, Alfa Romeos. I had an Alfa Romeo that I wish I had never sold. And there was a Volkswagen Beetle from the 60s that I restored for my wife, and she's still mad at me for selling that one. But there's only so much room in the garage, so a lot of times I'd finish them and sell them, or have people approach me, I'd like that, and next thing you know, a deal is struck. Everything's for sale. Today's car is a 1949 MGTC. It's right-hand drive. It was MG's model right after the war, and they only made it for 4 years, and they didn't export a whole lot to the United States. And then in 1950, they started full-bore production for the United States and changed to left-hand drive. So people see you going down the road, they always think it's the passengers driving the car, but it's not true. It's a right-hand drive car.
I'm sure you get a lot of looks going down the highway.
Yeah, I get quite a few. Some thumbs up, and just some blank stares. My goal is always to make them as back to the original, which there's a lot of different avenues people take. Some people like hot rods. They put big motors in older cars and that. I tend to enjoy bringing them back to the way they were when they came off the assembly line. And that takes a lot of research, takes a lot of hunting around for parts. And to me, that's, believe it or not, 90% of the fun is finding the parts. Like the headlights for that MG out there, that's from a contact in Great Britain. There was none in the United States that are like that. So it's a lot of research and it's a lot of fun for me. My wife says, that you spend a lot of time on the computer staring at the screen. Well, yeah, true. I'm guilty, and a lot of time on the phone tracking down stuff.
And then from that time in front of the computer and on the phone, once the part comes in,
then it's to the shop. And a lot of times you get the part and the part's not in 100% condition. So then it's restore the part and then put it on the car. There's a lot of glass bead work, it's called, a lot of paint and priming work, a lot of welding work. You got to have a good pair of hands and be a jack of all trades.
Did you come in with that knowledge, or did you develop it along the way?
I developed it along the way. You get better as time goes on, that's for sure. The cars, like this one's a perfect example. If you went out and seen the picture of the car, it was literally a trailer full of fenders and a bare chassis, because the prior owner had thought about restoring it, took it apart, and after it sat in his garage for 15 years, he never got to it. So I literally bought a pile of parts and put a car back together. And I've done that multiple times. Now, the 39 Dodge, the first car I restored, was a doghouse. It was sitting on the ground, flat on the ground, had a very unforgiving German Shepherd living in it with the door propped open. But I recognized it as an unusual Dodge, and made a deal with the owner, came back the next day, persuaded the dog to relinquish ownership and drug it home. Pumped up the tires, put gas in it, and drove it back and forth to work for many years, which then we finally decided that we were going to restore that one. Yeah, it's a passion for sure. Yeah, but you meet a lot of people over the years. Part of it developed into my being a judge for the AACA. So yeah, I've been literally all over the country, different places, judging. From the knowledge I have on the antique cars, I judge these shows, and you meet people, every persuasion. That's a lot of fun too. Make a lot of friends. Your grandfather, your father's got something old sitting in the garage. Don't be afraid to get out there and try and put it together. There's a lot of history involved. People don't realize how much history of different regions in the country are tied in with the automobile. I mean, everybody looks at it as just a normal part of life. Oh yeah, it's a car, but there's a lot of history involved. So have fun. Get out there.
For Shore Perspectives and WESR Radio, I'm Kelley Gaskell.